Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Australian Report for Tuesday, August 31st, last day of the month, spring tomorrow. I'm a bit concerned about this particular count that I've got, and normally we can sort of follow the banks a little bit, but they're having a bit of difficulty as well. So I still could look at this here as the A wave here, as 5 waves down here, and then an A and a B and a C for the B wave coming back to the 50-60%. It does count rather nicely down here as a as an impulse wave. The move up through here, it looks impulsive with a sharp sort of wave back, and I could see that we could look at it as 1 and 2 here, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it still leaves me like an ABC pattern. So I'm still wondering, technically this wave 1 and wave 2 here is fine, even though it's above the 50-60% retracement level. But if it takes out this top here, then that would cause a little bit of a problem as well. So it looks like it wants to go up further. It seems to be following the US markets up, and they've got further to trend up as well. So we'll need to be a little bit sort of careful. I'm wondering in some way or another, because this really depends on the banks. And when we have a look at the banks, I'll just go to the banks for a moment. So when we look at the banks here, we've figured that this move up through here for CBA was on lower volume, so we thought that it was sort of corrective, and we still need to see a move down. We are seeing ANZ move down a little bit lower here, so that's broken lower. And as I've mentioned before, this move up through here, it hasn't really made a new high here, so it's kind of an equal balance. We could use this as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave over here for wave 4, and then move up. So yeah, look, it's really a little bit tricky, all of this, and we're seeing this on the US bank side. There's some US banks that have got 1, 2, 3 up, and the other banks that have got 1, 2, 3 going 4 and going 5 up. So it's a little bit sort of tricky. I can't really nail it down if this is part of a move down here for wave 4, and then we move up in that regard. So this move up here in 3 waves is what we've also got in the ASX200, which we can also sort of squeeze 5 waves out of it. But when we look at CommBank here, we could squeeze 5 waves out of this. It wouldn't be that difficult, but it just doesn't really, we don't have a nice 4th wave here and then a 5th wave up through there. So sure, I can sort of force it a little bit. So I was just sort of waiting to see what was going to go on through here. And as I've mentioned, coming down here, we've got increasing volume, and coming up here, we've got basically decreasing volume. Coming up, we have seen a little bit of upward volume in here, but some of that upward volume could be selling at the tops there as well. So I'm still a little bit uncertain about this particular move through here. So it's not really helping the ASX as such. We could look at could just have a look, catch up and have a look at this is CBA here, but I wanted to have a look at the XXJ just quickly. See, the XXJ is still got a case of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and going up for 5 here, So, maybe, Westpac and, CBA and whatnot, ANZ can, continue up through there. That's the banking sector, the XFJ is in the same boat. It hasn't really, this move down here hasn't breached the top of wave 1 here. So, yeah, it's a bit sort of tricky. The volume's still quite okay-ish here. I would expect this, looking at this normally, I'd just expect another move up from that point. So, can we expect that from CBA here? Can we expect it to climb up here for that? But it's already overlapped wave 1. So I'm getting all these cross messages, and I'm not really sure which way to play it out. This hasn't been updated from yesterday. That's probably Monday's bar there. Sorry about that. Friday's bar even. So let me just update this now. So I'll need it in a moment anyway. Sorry about that. So yeah, a little bit of an issue on that case. So coming back to the coming back to the Australian market here, I really don't know if this is going to continue to climb higher here. It's a little bit tricky to say because, I mean, I do have a nice 5 waves down here. I mean, I probably could look at it as 1 and 2 and 3 to here and 4 and 5, you know, and get an A wave here, B wave here and a C wave here. And then looking at this, counting this to the upside, I could probably look at this as 1 and 2 here and then 1 and 2 here and then building to the upside more so. So I could look at it like just on the 4-hour chart. I was toying around with it. So still considering the move up here, I mean, we're considering it as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here, like originally, but it overlapped that. So, you know, then we had a better case for 5 waves down here and an ABC coming back to the 50-60%. But, you know, maybe it's just a little bit weird and we got to look at it as 1 and 2 here and 1 and 2 here, you know, and further to the upside. I really sort of unsure about this. I mean, my main point is I don't want to lead anybody astray, you know. So when I'm in doubt, I just stay out, you know. So, but we do have nice support on the 7,500 for an upward move. This move down through here that we counted as an impulse wave here, if I counted this move up through here really counts as 3 waves up there. So I'd have to put that there and look at this as an A wave, a B wave and a C wave to that low and then start counting up through here. But I'm afraid if I start counting up here, it could just come up to the top of this box and you know, drop again from that point. And then we would need to look at this here as an A wave, a B wave and a C wave coming to here and then rolling over from there. I just don't know if it's going to push up, you know. Yeah, so I'm not sure what to tell you about that. So I don't really have a lot of answers for this. The move, this little move here appears to be sort of corrective. So that means that going long, if you're going to go long, taking out that little high there, that's where you would need to go long. And also too, with 7,500, if we just put on our trader's hat for a moment, this 7,500 here, then we've got group 1 above that, 10, 20 and 30. Okay, so that's 7,530, which that should be 30. So I might just tweak that in. No, that's right. So that's all good. So having a tested support here would be good. What you have to be a little bit careful of in this case is if the market moves up through here, right, and then comes back down through here. So I think that if you're going to go this way, because I won't do it, but in this case, we'll just put half a trade here, and then the other half of the trade would go back on the top of this one here, if that was going to move up from that point somewhere down here and move up from that point. So wherever that may be here. So that means we could also look for a classic trading levels pattern on the 75.40 and the 75.50 at that point. I mean, you can see here a little bit, we could look at this as wave 1 here with an A, B and C in here for that. And then this little move up here is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. So, you know, all of this here looks like an A wave to here, a B wave to here, and then a C wave down to here. You know, that's what it looks like to me. And then building over here. So this could just be a C wave here coming to, you know, this top over yonder here, the 50-60% retracement level, and then, you know, moving down from that point. So this is what we really need to be careful of. It's just not clear for me, so I'm just going to have to leave it at this point in time, and we'll just keep focusing on the banks and seeing what they're doing. So apologies about that. I just, you know, I don't want to get into the guessing game too much, you know. I mean, technically, while we're above 7,500, then, you know, we could be on the long side. But it's just I've got this sort of haunting 5-wave structure coming down through here, and then I've got 3 waves here. Then I've got 5 here, you know. this doesn't count very well as 5, as I just mentioned. So there is that heavy bearish tendency to it. But I also understand that the US markets need to push up as well. So, I mean, you know, maybe the other way we could look at this is looking at this as, well, an A wave down to here, a B wave up to here, and a C wave down to here, and then we put wave 4 in here. That's the other way to look at it. Just remove that for a moment. And then try to look at this as 1 and 2 to the upside. But like I said, you know, the wave C here is a bit short, and I'm kind of getting into the guessing game a little bit, and I don't really want to get into that. So I'll just put it down as I can't help, I don't know, and we just have to wait for more information, which really needs to come from the banking side of things. So let's move on to the resources. So just before we do that, we normally have a look at China. So China's coming down as we sort of thought it should do, you know, to have another low here. So that's all good. India's still pushing up, I think. We'll just go to the daily chart here for a moment. We're looking for that to push up, so that's all good, but I'll just go. So it's all going according to plan. Obviously, this is not wave 3 here yet, so we can take that, delete that. We're going to move that over here. It means we still need to understand what's coming off this trend, but we'll need to bring it back from this point. It still looks like this wave is just extending up here because that's really small, so we'll need to put this up here. You know, even though we don't know the count, we've still done all the right things at the right time. So for this trade here and here, we've been exited at the 1650 because that was the end of a little 5-wave structure that we're just tracking up here. Taking that high out here would send us long again, so we can bring that up. We'll just bring it up much closer there. Let's just get rid of that risk, shall we? And I still don't understand the count because I haven't looked at it. If anybody's got a clear count on it, done some homework, send it through for me, and I'll make the adjustments and give you credit. So let's move on to the resources. So with iron ore here, we're looking for a low in the Australian dollar and a top in the US dollar. So that's all going quite well. But it does appear that we've got a little 5 waves up there. That's what it looks like to me. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. On the tick chart, it counts a little bit differently. But what I also can say too is from that low to that high there, the 61.8% is coming back at the 800. So we can stay bullish while the 800 stays as the support. It can just pop through it a little bit, but we don't want it finding resistance at that point. So if we look at the US dollar index, which is on this 1 hour chart, and this is a wave 5C of 4, so we've seen a rally in that movement. But why we're seeing a rally in the US dollar, we're looking at copper and iron ore move to the downside, but we're thinking that's changing now. We still need some confirmation. We've got this 5 waves down here, then an ABC for wave 2, and then we're looking for this 5 waves down, this drop here. So that's looking quite good. And we're looking for yesterday we talked about a little bit of a rally in here, so we need to look for that rally. So we can look at that as a 50-60% mark. I don't like spikes, but we're just going to use it in this case. So it can come back up into closer to the 93, basically retesting supply. So that would be, that's the 50 there, so just in there somewhere, but obviously that 93 is really important at that point. So it's making a bit of an effort here so far, so we can just get rid of that. We better put that over there because that's where it can go back to. This could just be the little A wave here, some sort of B wave forming, and then a C wave to the upside. So yeah, so that means if that's correct, when this low here goes out of this wave 1 here, for instance, that means you can go long in commodities and long in commodity dollars as well, so the CAD, the Australian and those sorts of things, and the euro and all that won't be far behind either. So Let's just give that a little bit more time and let's see where we are. But all looking quite good for the bearish side here. But, you know, this box here is the 50-60% of the last trend, so we just expect support here, and it's going to be a bit of a grind. I mean, even when that goes up there and then comes back down again, it's going to come back up again and then down. So we're going to be here for a little bit longer than one may think. Okay, and the Aussie dollar, just keeping it very simple without going into the intraday too much. This is the 4-hour chart. We look from wave 3, 4 and 5. We're looking at this as wave 1 here. It's also possible for wave 1 to go there and wave 2 to go here for this. That's the tricky bit for that. But you know, if this was the reverse of the US dollar, then this would be the correct count with 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here. So we're hitting this resistance over here, so at 73, which is also the top of group 1. So 3 is a strong number, and it'll just take a little bit of time to migrate this from being resistance to support, and it's got to soak up, you know, all of this here. So just be a little bit mindful of that. And I think copper's going quite well in terms of everything. So I mean, the beauty about this is that we're seeing here an impulse wave to the upside. So this is the first, I mean, apart from the US dollar having that wave 1 to the downside, on the commodity side of things, we've been, you know, we watched the first wave, and, you know, been counting our curds and waves, and that may be over here. I'm not quite sure. Yeah, it looks like it, but anyway, I'm not quite sure about that. But the beautiful thing here is that we're taking out this top here. So that makes us 1, 2, 3, because that could have been an ABC at that point, you know what I mean, a corrective rally. So 4 and 5. So we're on track, we've done well, and, you know, we'll see this move up, and we'll see some type of correction here and so on, and then move up again. It might play out a little bit differently, but the takeaway here is that we're getting 5 waves off the low here. You know, that's important, you know. So if we just go back to the 4-hour chart here, that was 1 hour, that was 4 hours. So we're looking at that, pop that in there, pop that in there. So we're getting that 5 waves up here now. So I could probably even I've got it in blue wave 1. I could probably even put it in this wave 1, really. I've got too many things on the chart, have I? Okay, I've got to start getting rid of things. Give me a bit more space. And on the daily chart, which I think is worth probably looking at, I already talked about that 1 and 2 here yesterday, of course. So yeah, all looking pretty rosy at this stage. And this is where we're heading. This is the wave 4, 1 lesser degree, and the 38.2% retracement level. So everything being equal, we should end up at 11,500. So a great time to look at copper stocks. So this wave 2 that pulls back through here, I think this is, we talked about this before, because this will affect, I mean, like BHP, for example. So let's move over to that. So let's just look at BHP in the US, which was up 1.5% last night. So the bottom line here is from wave B here to wave C here, we're looking for 5 waves of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. I could have made a mistake, and wave 4 could be tied up in this gap here somewhere. I'm not quite sure, but this level here is the 38.2, 40%. 38.2, so that's where we're looking at. So let's just allow that to go there. We're not seeing a lot of volume move up here. You know, in fact, we're seeing decreasing volume move up here. So an A wave, a B wave just in there, and a C wave up here to that. And then, so while copper is pulling back for wave 2, then that will give this a chance to pull back and make a new low in here to 62 would be a buy here. This is New York BHP. The Australian BHP would be the 38.2% retracement level is way up there, but I don't think we'll go that far, because when we look at this is from 46.50, 47.20 and 48 make up group 2. We can see here that it's important, so that's where it will be checking supply. And but it could go higher, but once again the ABC here looks a little bit easier to follow, so we can look at that as the A wave, the B wave and the C wave up here. So we want 5 waves in here, but BHP is traded in 5 or 6 different exchanges, so you know, it looks like Swiss cheese at the end of the day, so a little bit tricky on the intraday to follow it. But are still looking for one more low to come into play here. So to buy BHP at $42 or $43 would be optimal. But we'll keep an eye on this here, and hopefully, if I looked at it now on the intraday, we wouldn't have any answers, because I know that that would be like 5 waves or 3 waves, and then we've got back here. So the idea is to count 5 waves in this little move, somewhere into 46.50 to 47, say, and then looking for it to roll over. And FMG will be iron ore-ish, so let's, I was up 6%, 6.5%, but that's still, we've got from wave B here to wave C here. We're looking for 5 waves. So we've got blue wave 1 and 2, and then we've counted down through here in green for wave 3. And then we were looking for the 38.2% retracement level. Also hard to count 5 waves in that point there. We are on a tick chart here, by the way, but we could probably go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 in through this area. So we're at this price point here, we start to expect it to wanted to roll over at that point. So we've got that move up there that we wanted, so I can take that away. We can just move that over a little bit, doesn't need to be in our face. But yeah, so once again, we're looking for, you know, this wave 5 here, wave 3 there. This move here doesn't really count as 5 waves, as I've mentioned before, as yesterday. You could probably squeeze it, but it's not like a normal 5 waves for FMG, which we did compare yesterday, another one. So let's just give this a little bit of time up in here. Let's see what we get at this point. But once again, buying this back at 19, 18, 50, 18, 19 in that space. Let's just see how we travel with all of that. We'd want it to make a new low below wave 3. And then we can work it from that point. So that's that. What else do we need to cover in the Australian one? Let me just check. We've done the whole banking side, the ASX and the banking side. I just don't know. I've covered BHP, iron ore, copper. So we've done our little journey. So this is where we are with everything. I'll leave it at that. Apologies for not being able to assist on the banking side of things. Hopefully it may shine a little bit of light on it before the end of the week, and we'll be able to get a clear sort of passageway on that. But look, when you know what's going on, you make a move, and when you don't know, you sit on your hands, you know, and it's smart even if you don't know, you know. You're not dumb because you don't know. You're smart if you can recognize you don't know. Alrighty, I'll leave it at that. Thanks. Cheers.